What's happening, ghoulies? Welcome back to the Voina experience. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and subscribing. And I'm sure that if you clicked on this video and you saw the title, you're probably asking yourself, has this dude finally lost his mind? I assure you, I might just be a little bit overexcited for the Halloween season, but ghoulies, was Heckles the Clown inspired by Heckles, the character from the Friends TV show? Now, I know what you guys are saying, there's no way that's possible, and you're right, you gotta listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Heckles the Clown is Mr. Heckles from Friends. I'm simply saying that there might be, I was watching some things, and I just kind of got it in my head that there's a lot of little underlying similarities that lead me to believe that there might have been some inspiration involved with this character a little bit. So, I invite you to stick around and hear me out, because we're going to have a little discussion. So, you're probably asking yourself, okay, what is all this? Who is Mr. Heckles? Some people might not even know who Mr. Heckles is, or what the TV show Friends was, or even know what I am talking about at all. So please, just bear with me for a few minutes, and I'm going to explain everything and my reasons to you guys. So let's take a look. Let's start at the beginning. First of all, let's talk about who these characters were. All right, so we've got Mr. Heckles from the TV show Friends. If anybody's not familiar with Friends, Friends was a very popular sitcom back in the mid-90s involving a group of friends. And Mr. Heckles was sort of like this grumpy neighbor guy who was, always kind of depressive, always trying to tell everybody to be quiet, didn't like anything. He was very grumpy and just, the cliche grumpy neighbor. Heckles the Clown, for anybody who doesn't know, Heckles was one of the best comedians on the Borscht Belt circuit, cutting down all contenders with his quick wit and razor-sharp insults, and one night, a little too full of himself and wine, Heckles took on a new comedian who reduced him to shreds. Now with no confidence left and laughed out of the biz, he hustles balloons for a few bucks. Unfortunately, the kids and their parents don't know that his balloons were filled with poisonous gas, anything to get the last laugh. As so says the Spirit Halloween description of Heckles the Clown. So you have Heckles the Clown, who was a comedic clown, but then he kind of got laughed out of the business, and now he's this sort of depressed, sad, ho-hum sluggish type of clown who's trying to get balloons for 10 cents. Great, but Brett, how do these characters have any similarities at all to make you think that Heckles the Clown was inspired by Mr. Heckles from Friends? Well, let's talk about it. We're gonna peel the onion a little bit. First, let's discuss the very obvious thing of the similarity of they have the same name. Heckles the Clown, Mr. Heckles from Friends. All right, so they've got the same name. Who cares? Lots of things and lots of people share the same name. That's not enough to convince me. All right, let's keep going. Let's talk about their physical appearance for just a moment. So here we have Heckles the Clown. And Heckles the Clown is this thin, lanky sort of clown. He's very sluggish in his stance, shrumped shoulders, a very sad expression on his face, seems ho-hum and gloomy, along with this poofy green hair that comes out on the sides to give him a very clownish appearance. Now, let's talk about the appearance of Mr. Heckles from Friends. Mr. Heckles is also a tall, lankish sort of character who's very sluggish, slumpy shoulders, a frown, sort of grumpish expression on his face, and of course, he's got this poofy white hair coming out of the sides and on top a little bit. It's not exactly the same, and of course, it's a clown versus a regular person, but overall, the hair does have a very similar sort of poofy stance to it, giving a similarity of the two characters. Okay, so they've got same name and they've got a similar appearance. I still don't really think that Heckles the Clown was inspired by Mr. Heckles from Friends. After all, where's there a similarity other than just the physicalities? All right, let's dig a little deeper. In an episode of Friends, the one where Mr. Heckles dies, Mr. Heckles, being sad and lonely in the world, has left all of his worldly possessions to the friends. And Chandler, while cleaning out Mr. Heckles' apartment, discovers his yearbook. And in his yearbook, it is revealed that Mr. Heckles, the once grumpy sort of neighbor, in his high school days was actually considered to be, quote, one of the funniest people in the school and was voted to be the class clown of his high school graduating class.
Heckles, you cracked me up in science class. You're the funniest kid in school.
Funniest? Heckles?
That's what it says.
Wow, Heckles was voted class clown, and so was I.
Oh, and also there was an episode of Friends where Mr. Heckles inadvertently kidnaps Ross's pet monkey Marcel, puts on a little tutu, and buys him a bunch of bananas and makes up ridiculous reasons as to why he thinks it's his monkey. A sort of comedical, if not sad comical, stance on the situation. So here you have this character that was once considered to be one of the funniest guys in his school and voted to be the class clown of his graduating class, who also periodically does weird comical things like dressing up a kidnapped monkey in a ballerina tutu, suddenly is known as this depressing, grumpy neighbor that always frowns and is not very funny whatsoever.
Mr. Heckles, our friend lost a monkey. Have you seen it?
I left the Belgian waffle out here. Did you take it?
It sounds a little bit similar to a once popular comedic clown that was laughed out of his business and ends up being the sad, disgraced version of his former self.
Just don't come a-knocking for refunds. Don't ask why.
Ghoulies, I don't know. I'm just saying that there's some similarities there. Also, let's keep in mind that Spirit Halloween does in fact sell Friends merchandise in their store. Now, none of this is in the form of a costume or an animatronic or anything Halloween related. It's just, t-shirts or a random sign or some sort of a collectible. There's someone or something in the Spirit Halloween community or decision-making group that is a fan of Friends. Otherwise, I don't think this merchandise would be in the store. So I kind of feel like Spirit Halloween does have some sort of interest or likability to Friends, or at least an employee somewhere in the decision-making process has a likable stance on that show. And it's possible, it's just possible, Ghoulies, that Mr. Heckles was sort of reincarnated by a Friends fan at Spirit Halloween or a Friends fan that designs Halloween animatronics into this sort of clown tribute to the character. Again, I'm not saying that Heckles the Clown is Mr. Heckles from Friends. I'm just saying, I think there's some plausible similarities between the two, enough to make me feel like maybe there was some inspiration from Heckles, a sort of once comic character that's now a grumpy old character that sort of got turned into this once comic clown, and it's now a sad, depressive version of his former self. There's just a lot of baseline similarities that lead me to believe there might be some inspiration. But I could just be going off the deep end. So Ghoulies, tell me, what do you guys think? What are your thoughts? Leave your responses down in the comments about how you feel. Is Heckles the Clown some version of Heckles from Friends, or was there at least some small inspiration of the two characters? Let us know. Thank you so much for watching, Ghoulies. Hope you had fun with this quirky little video. And until next time, we'll catch you later, Ghoulies.